The National Party has recently been elected to government. The unemployment rate has increased substantially and is likely to increase further. This is a direct result of two National Party policies. National changed the mandate of the Reserve Bank. Under the previous Labour government, the Reserve Bank was tasked with managing inflation and unemployment rates. National changed the mandate of the Reserve Bank so that unemployment rates would no longer be a consideration. National has also cut government spending significantly. This has led to masses of government employees losing their jobs. Many of these workers were doing valuable work and making a good contribution to the country. National did not even do targeted cuts. They did not just abolish a few dumb ministries. Instead, they did broad funding cuts across many public departments, many of which do incredibly important work. This led to far-reaching consequences and indefensible job losses. The government wants to cut border security roles. The government has said they would only cut the back office. They are too dumb to understand that the back office coordinates and manages the front line. Without a functioning back office, the frontline services become chaotic and inefficient. Anyone with even a drop of intelligence can understand that. Unemployment rates are increasing as a direct result of the idiotic policies of the National-led coalition government. Many people in both the public sector and the private sector have found themselves out of work. Unemployment rates are rising, and the government does not seem to care. They do not take this issue seriously. They changed the mandate of the Reserve Bank so unemployment rates would no longer even be a consideration. It is obvious that they do not care about unemployment rates very much. And of course they don't. This government is funded by the wealthy elite. Many of its leading politicians are wealthy elites. The wealthy elite benefits from higher unemployment rates. They are not going to be put out of work. High unemployment rates create desperate job seekers who will accept whatever scraps they are thrown. High unemployment rates give employers more leverage as workers are more desperate and have fewer options. High unemployment rates give employers more control over what they offer workers. When a job seeker only has one option, they cannot afford to be picky. They must accept a job even if the wages are garbage, the hours long, and the working conditions miserable. So higher unemployment rates are not a serious issue for the wealthy people who fund the governing parties. Unemployment rates are an issue for ordinary people, and this coalition is not funded by ordinary people. This coalition is funded by big money donations. This coalition is funded by the economic elite. That is the reality. And the sheer stupidity of this government. They introduce policies that will obviously increase unemployment rates. Major government funding cuts, changing the mandate of the Reserve Bank. Rising unemployment was the obvious logical conclusion of these policies. And then they blame unemployed people for being unemployed. They lecture beneficiaries, they threaten to cut benefits, all while putting people out of work and onto welfare. It is laughable. Increasing unemployment rates and then getting angry at people for being unemployed. The stupidity and the cruelty of this government is impressive. The reality is that unemployment rates matter. There are many economic factors that should be taken seriously. Inflation, unemployment rates, GDP, debt, balance of trade. There are many important factors that should be taken into account. National's disinterest in unemployment rates is revealing. It is yet more evidence that National is not the economically sensible party that they claim to be. They have no interest in even considering significant economic issues. They have a total disinterest in an economic factor that has a massive impact on the lives of countless people. National claims to be economically sensible, yet they have no interest in managing unemployment rates. There is nothing economically credible about that. Labour takes unemployment seriously. Labour tries to minimise unemployment. National must be voted out of office in 2026. The only people who should lose their jobs are Luxon and his cabinet. The most wasteful government spending is the paychecks of these people. These idiotic politicians who are being paid to damage our country. These idiotic politicians who are being paid to shamelessly serve their rich donors. These idiotic politicians who are being paid to screw over ordinary people. They are the ones who should lose their jobs, and in 2026, I hope they will.